All right, people. Our first news topic of the day is going to be for Xbox. Microsoft. The prices are too damn high, man. What's up with all these rising prices there? Um, Xbox has increasing prices again for the second time this year. They announced a price hike there, not only with the game subscriptions there, but with also the consoles as well. And we'll give a
For the
breakdown
second time this year.
yeah, second time this year as well there. So this is the breakdown of some of the prices. I'll get some of this is for the consoles, and I'll get into the game subscription here. But Xbox Series S will start at $399 up from $379. Previously, a version with 1 terabyte of storage cost $449 there. Xbox Series X digital console now costs $599, a $50 increase. The Xbox Series X with a disk drive also got a $50 increase to $649. The most expensive version, the 2 terabyte of storage, costs $799, up from $729 there. And this doesn't include, I'll pull up the article where it includes the handhelds as well, because that also got a increase as well there. And then the subscription prices, which really also, I think that the subscription prices angered people more than the actual console prices, because people went like, well, I'm not getting the console anyway. I don't even have that. But the actual subscription prices, you know what I mean? That kind of bothers me more than anything there. So this is the update of that here. So you have the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is moving from $19.99 a month to $29.99 a month, though, which is a surprising $10 increase. Now, GameStop is still selling. People praise them for the first time in history. I think people actually are giving GameStop actual praise. So they said that they're still selling the $19.99 a month Game Pass cards. You can still buy at GameStop there for that. So they're still doing that. So there's that one. Then you
Worth
have
noting too that up until this point, having Game Pass Ultimate also would get you a lot of discounts on like DLC or battle passes for like live service games, and all that's also going away. You're not going to be getting those discounts anymore either.
Yeah. And this also talks about they added some little things there, I guess, for the price increase for people think to make up for it. It says while Microsoft increased the price of Game Pass Ultimate last year without improving the subscription, it's adding a bunch of improvements this time around. It says Game Pass Ultimate will now include access to more than 400 titles globally. This includes a majority of our partners who want to continue to bring their future games to Xbox Pass. Blackwell explains there. Microsoft has added 45 games to Game Pass Ultimate alone, including Hogwarts Legacy, a variety of Assassin's Creed titles, and many more Ubisoft games there.
Because people are so excited about Ubisoft games right now.
Yeah,
That's the Wheaton's the deal so much.
So yes, it also gives also now giving access to more than 75 day one releases each year. Blackwell says that's 50% more increase over the day one titles we provided last year. So that's some of the caveats there for the increase there.
Also worth noting that only for the Game Pass Ultimate, because so far up until now, if you had the kind of lower tiers of Game Pass, you would also get access to those new games on day one, right? But now they're saying, well, you have to have Ultimate to get access to those day one games. On these lower tiers, it's like, oh, sometime in the first year of release, but it's for the lower tiers, it's not like a day one thing anymore, and it used to be.
Yeah. Then there's Xbox Game Pass Premium. So Game Pass Premium will be priced at the same $14.99 monthly price of the existing standard subscription, but it will now have bigger library of games to choose from. More than 200 games will be available on both Xbox and PC, giving Game Pass Premium subscribers access to PC games for the first time, including Diablo 4 there and Hogwarts Legacy today. So you have that. Then there's Xbox Game Pass Essential. Will be priced at the same $9.99 monthly price for the existing core subscription, but it will now include more than 50 titles in the library instead of the more than 25 games that were available in the core. You will also be able to play all of these titles on PC or console. And there's even a limited cloud access, which was previously only available through the Game Pass Ultimate tier. Then you have the PC Game, and this is where it affects me because I have the PC Game Pass there. It says PC Game Pass price changes and more. It says Microsoft has also increased the price of its PC game subscription, moving from $11.99 a month to $16.49 monthly, a nearly 40% increase. Microsoft isn't trying to justify this increase with any added extras for PC players, though. They said the only change happening for PC game subscription subscribers is that they won't be getting Ubisoft Plus Classics. Oh, that's a shame. But they'll be getting about 50 additional Ubisoft titles across PC Game Pass. Blackwell says it will continue to get day one titles. So you got that.
I think one of the things there too is with these price increases, you're really seeing, I think, a dependence on people that just kind of let subscriptions go and just they sign up for a thing and maybe they don't use it that much, but they just it's more hassle to go and cancel it and make an effort to. Though people have been with this, but I think the thing with Game Pass being the price it was before, it just you could kind of justify it a bit because $20 a month. It has no Neil's 100% right there. But if if you look back to even at $20 a month, and that was and this is not the first price increase, right? It used to be cheaper than that. Even it was at one point like $15, right? It was $14.99 for the nice ultimate version. So it has had a over time 100% price increase. Now, even at $20, if you subscribe to that and you played, hey, say one game at least every 4 months or so, it was essentially paying for itself, right? Like one full price game after 4 months, as long as you played one, you were getting that money out of it. But a lot of people, and this is people I've talked to, people I know who are more casually into gaming that don't play a ton of stuff. They see a couple things they like, they engage with it here and there. But if you're paying $30 a month for these things and like you finish a game or two every year and that's it, you're wasting money on it. You could just buy those games for full price brand new, those couple you're going to play, and you will not have spent nearly as much money as you will. I mean, we're talking almost $400 a year. Let's put it into perspective that way. Let's not just say the price it is per month. Let's talk about it being almost $400 a year. You could buy, and I saw someone do the math, for 2025 to buy every single Xbox first party release, so Outer Worlds 2, and right, there's a whole list of them. If you bought every single one of them at full price day one, you'd spend about $450 across the whole year to get everything. So at like, I think it's like $380 for a Game Pass for a whole year. You might as well just buy these games and then you own them. And then you never have to worry about them being taken off the store. Now, I get part of the advantage is maybe you don't have the money to buy all these new games. Well, that's part of why the service was nice before, right? But with the price increase, and mark my words, this will not be the last one. They're going to increase this price again sometime next year. Just today I was hearing people like insider reports coming out saying they're expecting another round of 10,000 plus layoffs in the first quarter of 2026. So these price increases are just going to keep happening. So, I mean, you increase the price like that even one more time, and it will actually cost you more money to pay for Game Pass than it will to just buy these games.
And with those, and I said I was going to talk about GameStop and the handheld in a minute here. So right here, let me do that real quick. So GameStop here says here, so GameStop keeps taking shots at Xbox, says it will keep selling Game Pass at old price there. So that might create an influx for their business there for GameStop and do that. Maybe I got to buy some stock in GameStop again. Maybe it'll be like the 2010s when they were doing that.
To the moon.
All that shit. Maybe I got to download that app again and buy some GameStop stock. But yeah, so they're still doing that. This article was published just 3 days ago, so nothing as far as I know has changed there as far as that go. But for you look at all these subscriptions, you look at the changes to it. Which one did you have any of? Which one did you have, or did you have any of these?
For the Xbox, I never paid for any of these. I've paid for just like the very basic Xbox Live, like the $10 a month, like to have access to like internet and multiplayer and whatnot. But even that is not something I've like kept to long term. I just would use it briefly the month I needed it and then shut it off again because I mean, as you know, I'm not a big multiplayer game guy in the first place, so I'm certainly not going to pay for 2 subscriptions like this. I pay for the PlayStation one, and even that, I also get like the cheapest version of it that just comes with like the 2 free games a month or whatever. I do not go for these higher tier things. I just personally, I do not like the idea of video games becoming streaming service libraries because I think it really ends up devaluing the artistry that these developers put into these things in the first place. Now, I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan or a fan at all, but you look at the numbers coming out in 2024, putting this last Call of Duty on Game Pass, that caused a $300 million loss for the company.
Okay.
Because they're able to check the libraries right internally. They're able to check the libraries of the people that are using Game Pass to play that game and see, did they buy games the previous years of Call of Duty at full price? Yes, they did. Now they're using Game Pass to play it. That's why they're increasing the price, because they're hemorrhaging money on making these games available for the service. It's just not practical unless you jack up the price, and then who's going to want to subscribe to it when you keep jacking up the price?
Yeah.
Just buy your games. I know not everybody that's reasonable, but I think it honestly is a better strategy to just go, you know what? Can't afford it right now. I'll wait 6 months to a year and I'll buy it when it's on sale. And just wait longer rather than pay nearly $400 a year for a subscription service for something that you might half use. And like, I mean, how many games did the average person finish? In 2011, there was a statistic for only 30% of people even finish most games that they play. And I guarantee you that number's gone down in the decade since.
Yeah. Like I said, I had the PC Game Pass there. I do have a PC. And I was getting charged monthly for it. I wouldn't say I used the most out of my subscription there. I played a few games on there, but I don't think I was maximizing my subscription there with it. But I think we talked about this before, streaming, and that's not only comes with video games, but with movies and shows and all these things like this, and you hear a lot about stories like things like Apple Plus loses a lot of money from their streaming the shows. Like they don't really make a profit from it. Disney, how much do they make a profit from their streaming service there? You see HBO Max take off all these things on their streaming service because it's costing them money. So, are these things just not a very viable method of money they're having this subscription price? And, speaking about these things, I mean, this coincides, I think the Disney news was first, right? Where they said they're raising their prices, or no?
I think so.
Right? Okay. I don't know if they came
or
after.
Maybe it was after.
I think maybe it was after, maybe with Disney, where they said they're jacking up their prices too. Where with
people were already canceling that one.
Yeah, they were already people were canceling that in mass. Just like with this was Xbox, people were canceling their game subscriptions in mass. Let me see if I can find. Do you know the exact number? I'll see if I can find the exact number of people who did that there.
That I'm not sure about, but I will say this is also coming hot off the heels of increases on, like you were talking earlier, the console prices as well, right? And the third largest console retailer, at least in the US, Costco, dropping Xbox products entirely. Like Costco has completely just dropped the entire line of Xbox products. They're not dropping the PlayStation. They're not dropping the Switch. They're just dropping all of the Xbox. And I saw just yesterday, just in the country of Spain, local retailers dropping Xbox. No more. They're just not selling them anymore. So there's it seems like a lot of retailers are just reconsidering whether it's worth it to carry these things, because I think they're seeing that people aren't buying them. Now, I want to also make a specific mention of Xbox has just always been something that has had its biggest foothold in the United States. They've never sold many in consoles in Japan at all. And Europe has been some here and there, maybe depending on the country. UK, I think it does a little bit better than it does in, say, France or Italy or Spain. But clearly, these places are realizing that it's just not even worth it to have this stuff in inventory stock.
Damn, can't use it as a paperweight, huh? Damn.
Apparently not.
And this was the handheld, and I'm seeing articles here. So it says Xbox reportedly canceled its original handheld as it didn't believe it could sell 10 million units. This is from the Gamer here. It says the ROG Xbox Ally launches this month, and its more expensive X model has been confirmed to cost a whopping $999 and 99 cents there. So
Which is crazy. I
so
mean,
almost $1,000. They're pretty much over $1,000 you're paying for this.
and it can't even run the whole library of Xbox games or Xbox or stuff that's on Xbox Game Pass. It's not even really an Xbox system. It's just another company's handheld that Xbox went and said, "Hey, can you pop our logo on it?" And maybe you could play some of our games on there. But it's not even like some sort of all-encompassing system. It's like this very half-hearted, like, "Oh, we're not really gonna make one, so can we put a logo on one someone already made?" Like it's like really seems like not a lot of effort.
Hmm. The article continues. It says here there were supposedly plans for cheaper, dedicated Xbox handheld that was just an Xbox branded ROG Ally at one stage, but it seems Xbox may have gotten cold feet based on the sales of other handheld devices, and changed its plans there. So yeah, it seems like I don't know. They may be canceling. I forgot it was coming out this month. It's already October. Like, oh, that's right, it's supposed to come out this month.
And
I already
in
forgot that.
another month, we'll have forgotten that it did come out.
Yeah. And this shows the Steam Deck there, which they said the Valve's handheld console has yet to sell 5 million sold there. So they talked about that as well. We said it's like, I mean, most people probably, if you're gonna like, if why get this if you can already just get this, the Steam Deck.
Yeah, yeah,
There already.
totally. Because especially because the Xbox and kind of the PC and Steam and that whole kind of PC infrastructure, Xbox has already got its foot in there, and a lot of that stuff kind of there's cross compatibility, and especially let's just say, especially if you have a PC already. There's a PC Game Pass, even, right? Like you can play your Xbox games on your PC. You don't even need to get an Xbox to play these things. Um, so it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of reason to buy these, and obviously people aren't.
Mm. And here's an article here, CNBC discussing. So, what do you think of some of the reasons there? I'll get into with the article there. I just want to get your first thoughts on it with these rising subscription prices.
Well, I think the main thing is that they're hemorrhaging money because Game Pass is not like actually a profitable business model. Like I said, Call of Duty, $300 million loss to the company just because they put that one game on that streaming service. That's one game. Think about all the games that they say, oh, if you're subscribed, you get to play this day one, but you don't have to pay for it. This day one, but you don't have to pay for it. All of those games are hemorrhaging money. So at the end of the day, this is a self-inflicted problem, I think. Like they are raising these prices because they have kind of screwed themselves by promising something that was just not sustainable in the long run. Game Pass, I think, seemed like a great business model when it was starting out because every month or year you could say, look how many new people signed up for this service, right? Because so much of the success of a streaming service is measured in new subscriptions. But at a certain point, that tops out, right? You stop getting, massive, increasingly high numbers, and it kind of evens out and it stays where it is because the people who want it have it, and you're not going to get a lot of new people signing up for it. And that's kind of where we are now. So now they're looking at it like, oh, well, we can't have infinite growth anymore. So now we need to jack the price up on the people that are paying, and then they're just losing subscribers. I think they really are hoping that people will just kind of let them get away with it, or hoping that the people who are not paying attention to the prices of these things and maybe don't have to worry about their wallet the same way just are going to let it go, and maybe they can make enough money off of those people. But I mean, yeah, I think the price increases are a self-inflicted problem. They have caused this themselves. Putting all these games on Game Pass never actually made any financial sense. It just sounded good. It sounded consumer friendly, but it's impractical. It always was, and we're seeing the results of that now.
Yeah. I mean, you had this poor woman. She out here giving this news, man. They could, hey man, they could have just had some AI come out here, some voiceover thing.
Well, they should have had either Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond, the CEO and president of the company, come and give that news. Who I will also say, and Matt Booty, who is like the senior marketing executive. But those three figures who have been in those early years of Xbox, they were on every announcement video. They were putting their face out there every time there was news and talking up about how great this stuff was. But now that things don't seem to be going very well, they are barely in any of the marketing. The only time I see them anymore is when they're at like Tokyo Game Show or Summer Games Fest, and they come out and go like, "Yeah, hey guys, don't you like what we're doing?" And it's like, okay, well, you have an audience with a sign that says "Please applause" at this time, and you're not getting any criticism. And right, that's like the only time they're really presenting themselves as the face of the company anymore. That poor woman shouldn't have had to do that video at all. Phil Spencer should have had to get out there and eat shit in front of everybody and have to be the one to deliver that news.
And this is him right here, Phil Spencer. So this is this guy right here. Yeah.
You look at a picture of him right now, he looks like he's stress aging quite a bit.
Yeah, because he looks pretty fine right here, but then he had a hair transplant or something? Is that it?
I guess so. That I've never seen that
Oh no,
before.
maybe that's a different guy. Oh, that's probably a different guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it looks like looks a little much older right there. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, and just the footage of him at Tokyo Game Show last week, I thought like, ooh, you look stressed out. You doing all right? Because it doesn't seem like you're doing all right.
But yeah, so here's some of the reasons here. So this is an article here from CNBC that discusses this here. So it talks about, Microsoft said on Friday will increase the recommended retail prices. There are several Xbox consoles in the U.S. starting October because of changes in macroeconomic changes in the macroeconomic environment. The company said it would not increase the prices of accessories such as controllers and headsets. So hey, that's good news, man. No, at least you won't be paying more for the controller and headsets, man.
Hey,
And
you can go buy a headset and controller, plug it in, and sit there and pretend that you're playing a video game.
And said that in other countries it would stay the same. While Microsoft didn't explicitly attribute the increase to the Trump administration's tariffs, many consumer companies have been warning for months that higher prices are on the way. President Donald Trump has issued tariffs this year on multiple countries, which was stated goal to bring more manufacturing to the U.S. And then you hear on Microsoft, this is a direct quote from them. They said, "We understand that these changes are challenging and they were made with careful consideration there." And like you mentioned before, it's the second time Microsoft has raised prices on its console in the U.S. this year. Rivals Sony and Nintendo have also raised console prices in the U.S. as Trump tariffs went into effect there. So this article is kind of drawn in relation there to the Trump tariffs. Do you think that's partially responsible there?
I think that's complete bullshit. It's just an excuse. What is really happening, actually, and I have read a lot about this, they are infusing 80 billion from the Microsoft overall, is infusing 80 billion into development of AI. We're at a point already where about 30% of Microsoft's internal coding is being done by AI. They are spending 80 billion to enforce AI programming and develop AI systems. All of these price increases, this is all to try and make up for the fact that that's where they're putting this just massive amount of money. Like that is where this is really coming from. That is just, I think, an excuse. Now there's plenty of companies that are going to have this thing where they're increasing their prices because of tariffs. Microsoft is such a big, like, I think people sometimes like undervalue just how big of a corporation Microsoft is. Microsoft could eat 30 years of these tariffs and basically not lose any money. Like they are such a big company and they rake in such a profit. I think it is just kind of a horseshit excuse for them to say that's why they're doing this.
Yeah. Well, no, the article was saying they were speculating.
Oh, this is speculation. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I just don't think it's true. I think they're just, this is because of AI investments that they're making internally. I think that's the reason they're raising prices on everything. Of course, and then also the the fact that their Game Pass is just not sustainable. But I think really the core of it is this AI investment that they're doing, and there's a few companies doing this as well, but they seem to be going at it maybe harder than I've seen anybody else do.
Yeah. So this is what you seems like what you were talking about. It says Microsoft to cut up to 9,000 more jobs as it invests in AI there.
That is part of it. That's another way they're saving money. And like I said, we're supposedly, because we've already had a 10,000 job layoff this year. We're looking at, sounds like, at least another 10,000 in quarter one of 2026.
And this is what you mentioned, the 80 billion right here. It says the company said several divisions would be affected without specifying which ones, but reports suggested that its Xbox video gaming unit will be hit. Microsoft has set out plans to invest heavily in artificial intelligence and is spending 80 billion in huge data centers to train AI models. There, so mentioned that. So that's part of the reason there. So a lot of money with that. So yeah, I mean, no price as far as well, actually they did increase yeah, with that, but not for the subscriptions or anything like that with PlayStation. They did it with the console.
Yeah, PlayStation did like a $50 increase, which I don't love. I'm not like a fan of that. I think Sony probably could eat the cost of tariffs too and be fine. But like honestly, as far as like the sizes of the company go, like Sony and Nintendo are both fractions of the size that Microsoft is. Now you look at Xbox, and Xbox seems like it's the same size, but Xbox is just a really relatively small subsidiary. For the longest time, Microsoft just kind of let Xbox do whatever they want because the amount of money Xbox spent to do what they were doing, Microsoft didn't even notice that money going anywhere or moving around because they have so much at their disposal. It wasn't until they spent, was it I forget exactly how much it was, but when they bought Activision Blizzard for that just massive amount of money, I'm forgetting exactly how much they bought them for, but it was when that happened. And because Phil Spencer was telling these executives, hey, I'll buy these companies, I'll buy Double Fine Games, I'll get Activision Blizzard, we'll get Bethesda, we'll buy all these companies, we'll build up a library, we'll put it all on a subscription service, and that will make us profitable. And when they spent, was it 60, 70 billion or something like that? Or
It
70
says here
million?
Microsoft announced its intent to acquire Activision Blizzard for 68.7 billion.
Yep.
The acquisition was completed on October 13th, 2023, with its total cost accounting to 75.4 billion.
So now, when that happened, that is the moment when Microsoft turned like the eye of Sauron and went, hey, wait a minute. You're spending way more money than you used to. Now we're noticing. And that's when we started seeing all these changes happen. That's when we started seeing, oh, Microsoft is going to be multi-platform, and now its games are going to come out on the PlayStation. Maybe your next gen console is a little up in the air for Xbox, or oh, we're canceling our handheld and we'll put a logo on another handheld. Like that's when all this stuff really started snowballing, because that was like the promise, right? Was we do this and we get all these games. We get Call of Duty, we get Candy Crush, we get World of Warcraft, we get all this stuff from Blizzard, and that'll make Game Pass profitable. And then it didn't. And everything we're seeing is a result of that corporate mismanagement.
So yeah, this was I mentioned. So yeah, the article mentions this. Yeah, the rising prices. Sony also did. Nintendo also did. And this is the $50 one. This came out way back. This was in, I think they reported this. So this was in August. So they did this August 20th. So this was way back there, but they did that as well. So yeah, prices just going up across the board there.
And I could see Sony doing it again too. It's not even to say that they won't follow in Microsoft's footsteps and do that. But like I said, Sony is in comparison to Microsoft, Sony is not that big of a company. They're a big company, but when you put them next to Microsoft, it's really not comparable.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of early. No real news yet from Microsoft as to why they really technically raised the prices yet. Just a speculation on CNBC's part there. Maybe Trump tariffs have something to do with it. As you mentioned, the investment in AI there as well with that. So they're doing that. Also cutting a lot of jobs from Microsoft as well there. But yeah, we'll see if there's any update on that later on. But that was the news there with Xbox raising prices there. All right.